What's up? What's up? Another episode of You Can't Play Boxing Podcast. We back. Episode 16. It's been a good weekend. We had an exciting fight yesterday. We're going to dive into that for sure. That Triple G versus Derevyanchenko. Great fight, man. We're going to get into it though. But before we get into that, you know what I mean? We're going to talk about the hot topics that's out there right now. Really, nothing really too big this past week, man. We had that Dallas cop, you know what I mean, who shot the dude in his own apartment, you know, and most people thought she was going to get off. So it's kind of like a bittersweet type thing. She ended up getting convicted, but they gave her 10 years for the murder, you know what I'm saying? So, and most people were like, man, if that was a black cop that did that, there's no way he would have got 10 years. And then, you know, the other big thing was that the judge hugged her. The dude family hugged her. And I'm like, man, that must be some like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not racist at all. I'm like, cool, but it's like, there must be some white lady magic, you know what I mean? Because it seems like when it comes to like white women, like we got like some sort of like soft spot for them. I think it's like just perception. So I try not to get too political on this podcast, but that was just my observation. So that was one of the big things that happened in the news. You know, I must try to stick to the boxing though. But before I get into the boxing, remember, check me out on Instagram at You Can't Play Boxing. That's at UCANTPLYBOXING. And also, of course, it's your boy Electric Relaxation. You can check me out on Instagram under my name. So the big thing, we had a great fight last night. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. Golovkin coming off of his first loss of his career. Well, that's been the fight beforehand, but coming off the loss to Canelo last year, he fought Steve Rolls, kind of like a get-back fight. And so this fight with Derevyanchenko was for the vacant IBF title. And it was a great fight, you know. Golovkin, he getting up in age. He's 37 years old at this point. Derevyanchenko, I don't know how old is Derevyanchenko, man. How old is he? Oh, he's 33, so he up there in age a little bit too. He not a spring chicken. And you know, this fight started off with Golovkin knocking Derevyanchenko down in the first round. So the fight was starting off that way. Looked like Golovkin might get him out of here pretty quickly. Just for the record, I had this fight. My prediction for this fight, I want to be totally transparent. I thought Golovkin would win as a TKO in like round 10. But it looks like I was wrong when it came to it. So Golovkin had the knockdown first round. I had Golovkin winning the first 2 rounds. So going after the first 2 rounds, I had him up 3 points because of the knockdown. After that, rounds 3 and 4, they were kind of trading rounds to me. Round 3 was kind of close, but I gave that to Derevyanchenko. Round 5 and 6, they were trading rounds. But after the first 6 rounds, I had to fight 58 Golovkin, 55 Derevyanchenko. That 6th round was a close round too. But that third little stanza, round 7, rounds 8, rounds 9, Derevyanchenko was dog walking Triple G, man. I never seen him get dog walking like that. Derevyanchenko was laying the motherfucking paws on him. And so, you know, that ended up being, he looked old, and I'm going to get into how he looked to it. It's either 2 things happen with this fight. Either, we'll get into that in a second. So going after those 9 rounds, I had to fight 85 because Derevyanchenko at the round 9 looks like he was really about to stop Triple G, or he was tagging him. He was outclassing him. Round 10, pivotal round. Triple G, it was a close round, but I do say Triple G came back on my scorecard and he won. He showed me something. He showed me that he wasn't going to fold, because it would have been easy for somebody to fold who was mentally weak. He fought his ass off. He fought back, and I gave him that 10th round. So going into the championship rounds, I had to fight 95 Triple G, 94 Derevyanchenko. Round 11, I gave it to Derevyanchenko. So at the 11 rounds, I had it tied up 104 to 104. In that 12th round, it was a close round to me. They both was giving what they all. They both was tired. But I think Derevyanchenko had a little bit more in the tank. So I gave it to him. So I had to fight 114, 113 Derevyanchenko. But I will say I wasn't totally mad with Golovkin winning. When I watched the fight, I had there was 4 close rounds to me. Round 3, round 6, round 10, and round 12. And I gave both of them 2 rounds each on that. So if you gave Golovkin all of the rounds, I can see how you'd have the score of 115, 112 to Golovkin. If you gave Derevyanchenko all the rounds, I can see how you have it maybe 116, 111, or 115, 112. So I wasn't mad that Triple G won. It was a close fight, even with the punch stats. But I just think Triple G is one of 2 things, like I said before. I'm going to get to this, my observation. So with Triple G, either he was sick, like some of his trainer was saying in interviews after the fight, like I heard, or he just got super old, hella old, like all of a sudden. Because if he wasn't sick, I don't know who he's going to be able to fight without catching another loss. Who's a top middleweight. And DAZN didn't give him money for him to fight scrubs. They didn't give him $100 million to fight scrubs. So maybe he was just sick. He did look slow. It did look like his punches was kind of hard to come off. And he was wincing a lot. Like some people get hit with a body shot and they start wincing like in the middle rounds or on the later rounds. He started wincing he started showing visibly hurt in the second round. So that's why I think a lot of times people say they're sick. I think it's bullshit. But in this case, I think that he may have been sick. But we shall see. But I do know this though. I've always said Triple G is a good fighter. I've always said he's probably top 5 middleweight. But I always thought his marketing was way better than he was as a fighter. And don't get me wrong, he's a good fighter. But I thought they marketed him as this machine. And I didn't think he was a machine. I thought he just was fighting the right guys. So I'm looking at his last 6 fights. And in my estimation on how I scored the last 6 fights, I had him losing to Danny Jacobs by 1 round. I had that first Canelo fight being a draw. Of course, he beat Vanes Martirosyan. I had that second Canelo fight as Triple G losing by a round. Of course, he beat Steve Rolls. And then I had him losing by a round to Sergey Derevyanchenko. So in his last 6 fights, I have him losing 3 times, winning 2 times, and having a draw. He's a cool fighter, but I think he has a one-way approach. And if you're going to have a one-way approach of being this seek and destroy type dude, you leave yourself open, and top-notch boxers, elite boxers, know how to handle that. And I think that's what he ran into. And I think also he's getting old too. So I'm not discounting that also. But I just think I don't think the end is looking good for him. I think if he keeps fighting top-notch fighters, he's going to have more losses. And the style that he has isn't a style that ages well. It's a style that kind of, it's good when you're in your prime, but not good when you're not in your prime. So what we're about to do, we're going to take a quick break. After the break, what I'm going to do is give you the updated middleweight rankings. We'll see where Triple G falls on my new rankings. We'll see where Derevyanchenko falls on the new rankings. And be right back. What's up? It's that time of the show where we kind of give a shout out to our sponsors. The sponsor today is Anchor. Anchor is everything you need to create your own podcast. You can use Anchor to distribute your show. They'll kind of get it out for you. And all you have to do is do it from your cell phone or your microphone, however you want to do it. But if you want to get your voice out there, if you want to talk to the people, there's no better place to do it than Anchor. So download the app, Anchor, or go to their website, anchor.com. It'll distribute your podcast on all platforms. So again, Anchor. All right, we back. You Can't Play Boxing podcast. I appreciate everybody for fucking with me, for listening to the podcast. The podcast is really gaining steam. So to all the people that's out there listening, we appreciate it. We're going to try to up some of the production value on it. You know what I'm saying? We're getting close to that 20th episode. So, look for new things from us. We'll appreciate everybody fucking with us, who's been fucking with us. So, what we're going to dive into now, we're going to dive into the top 10 middleweights I got. So starting number 10, we got Camille Cesaramita. He's 29 years old, 21-0, coming out of Poland. I saw like a little bit of him, but middleweight, it's kind of, I'll be truthful, like after the first 6 people, 7 through 10, you can kind of put a lot of people through there. So I'm not real confident on him, but he looks promising out of Poland. Number 9, we got our dude Rob Brandt, hailing out of Dallas. He 25-2. So we got him number 9, 29 years old. Number 8, we got my Japanese brother, Ryota Murata, coming out of Japan. 15-2, 33 years old. He don't fight too often. He's solid though. I got him in number 8. And then number 7, we got our guy Korobov. What is Korobov from? I know he's from Eastern European, right? Eastern European, something like that. So you know what? I don't even have Korobov. Right? I don't have his record up here. What is Korobov's rank? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a little bit unorganized right now. I had this stuff right here, but got a little bit of technical difficulties. Alright. So, Korobov is 28-2. So, 28-2-1. So, he alright. Like I said, from 7 to 10 is kind of, you can put a lot of people there. Number 6 is a dude we just saw last night, Sergey Derevyanchenko, 13-2, even though I think he should have been, and a lot of people think he should have been 14-1. Fighting out of Brooklyn, number 6 in our rankings for the middleweight. Number 5, I got Jamal Charlo, 29-0 out of Houston, 29 years old. I think Charlo would really benefit from fighting top-notch fighters. I don't know how good he is, I know he has a talent, but he hasn't been tested for real, so that's why I got him number 5. He probably, him and Triple G would be a good fight. Him and Jacobs would be a good fight. Him with any of the top 5 middleweights would be a great fight, but he's in PBC, so he's kind of like on the outside, kind of like what Terrence Crawford is facing on welterweight. That's what Jamal Charlo's facing in middleweight. He don't really have a lot of people to fight right now. All right, so number 4, we got my guy who I think is going to super middleweight, but right now he hasn't fought there. We got our dude, Danny Jacobs. You know, Danny Jacobs, he lost 3 times. Of course, he lost to Triple G, which I had him winning that fight against Triple G by 1 round. And he lost against Canelo, but I think Canelo beat him convincingly. But nonetheless, Danny Jacobs is 32 years old, 35-3, coming out of Brooklyn. But rumor is he's going to start fighting a super middleweight, so he will probably be taken off of this ranking going forward. So my number 3 dude, saw him last night. And you might like, hold up, you had Derevyanchenko beating Triple G. But yeah, Triple G is my number 3 dude. Even though I had Derevyanchenko winning and I had Danny Jacobs beating Triple G, officially the judges gave him the win. So that's why I have him number 3. I do think Triple G, his next couple fights are going to really tell what his career is. I think he's closer to the end. I know he's at the end of his career. It's just whether or not who he's going to fight next. I think if he fought the number 2 dude on my rankings, that would be a bad style matchup for him. And number 2, I got Demetrius Boo Boo Andre, 28-0 out of Providence, Rhode Island. Very solid, technically sound, a lot of movement, great boxer. He would be a handful for anybody in the top 5. He's my number 2 guy. And of course, the king of the middleweights, king of boxing. Only lost 1 time, and that's to Floyd Mayweather. Well, some people think he lost to Triple G, but I don't think so. I think he had a draw, and I think he beat Triple G. But number 1 is Canelo, 52-1 and 2 draws. 29 years old, gonna fight Kovalev in November. I plan on trying to go to that fight in Vegas. So those are my middleweight rankings. So we're about to kind of wrap up this episode of You Can't Play Boxing podcast. Next episode, we are going to do a classic fight rewind. And we're going to talk about the Triple G versus Canelo first fight. We're going to rewatch it. Going to rescore it. Do I still have Canelo winning that fight? Or do I still have the fight as a draw? Do I have Triple G winning? Do I have Canelo winning? It was a close fight when I only saw it 1 time, so I'm going to rewatch it. We'll discuss it. You guys can put your comments at You Can't Play Boxing on Instagram. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. And again, this is your boy, Electric Relaxation. Until next week, y'all. Peace.